This fly was meant to catch huge fish. To tie it, we'll start off with some pink thread, snip the excess free, and continue wrapping slightly into the bend of our hook. At which point, we'll reverse our thread's direction back up to the head of the fly, and grab some pink flashabou. Secure about 5 strands to the hook shank, wrapping back towards the bend of our hook. Returning your thread to the head of the fly once complete. At which point, we'll begin wrapping our crystal flash forward in close touching spirals. Doing so to add some flash to our hook shank. Continue doing so until you reach your thread. At which point, we'll secure, taking thread wraps both in front as well as behind the crystal flash and snipping the excess free. We'll then grab some rabbit strips, here I'm using pink, whip finish, and snip your thread free. At which point, we can remove our hook, invert it, and insert it into our zonker strip with the hook point facing towards the fur. Once complete, we'll reposition our hook into our vise and reattach our thread. We'll then grab our zonker strip, positioning it over the hook shank, taking care to brush any excess fur out of the way. We'll then use our thread to secure the zonker strip to the head of the fly, taking several tight thread wraps, both behind as well as in front of the zonker strip. At which point, we can whip finish to secure everything in place and snip our thread free, painting it over with some UV resin to add some shine and durability to the head of our fly, and fix it in place with a UV light. We'll then grab a piece of wire, insert it through the hook eye, removing the hook from the vise once complete. At which point, we'll swap out to a different hook, resecure our thread, and snip the excess free. In order to secure our bead in place, we'll grab a piece of lead-free wire, insert it into the bead, and secure it tightly using our thread. Helicopter the excess free. With this complete, we'll begin wrapping our thread all the way to the bend of the hook. Here, we'll secure our wire tightly in place, measuring it to be a bit longer than our hook. Ensure that you use proper thread tension so that the wire can't be pulled free. Once you reach the head of the fly, snip the excess wire free using the back of your scissors, and continue securing the wire tightly in place. I like to help lock it in place by taking thread wraps underneath the wire, followed by a few additional tight wraps on top. Once happy, we'll grab our zonker strip, fold it over, and secure it to the back of our fly. Once again, brushing any excess hair out of the way and taking several thread wraps to secure it tightly in place. With this complete, we'll fold the zonker strip over, wrap up to the head of the fly, and begin palmering your body with the zonker strip, doing so in close touching spirals until you reach the head of the fly. At which point, we'll secure, taking thread wraps both in front as well as behind the zonker strip, and snipping the excess free. Take a few additional securing wraps, and grab a piece of tan barred zonker strip, inverting your fly if you have a rotating vise, and securing it to the underside. Snip the excess free, measure, and snip it to be just a bit shorter than your pink zonker strip. We'll then whip finish to secure our thread in place and snip it free, removing the fly from the vise and poking the hook through the underside of our tan zonker strip. This will help keep it positioned in place. With this complete, resecure your thread to the head of the fly and grab some lateral scale. Here I'm using pearl. Grab one strand, position it to the side of your fly, and secure it tightly in place, doing the same to the other side. Once secure, snip the excess free and create a dubbing loop by doubling your thread over and wrapping over the top of it. We'll then grab some pink ice dubbing, inserting it into our dubbing loop, followed by some UV white ice dubbing. We'll then spin up our dubbing loop and brush it out to give it a nice buggy look. Once happy, pull all the fibers backwards and begin hackling it around the head of your fly, doing so in close touching spirals until you reach the head of your fly. Once complete, we'll secure the dubbing loop in place by taking thread wraps both in front as well as behind and snipping the thread free, brushing it out once complete to ensure there's no fibers trapped beneath. And with this complete, we'll take a thread wrap in front of the dubbing and whip finish to hold everything in place. Snip your thread free and paint it over with some UV resin to add some extra durability. Secure with UV light, and this is the Dolly Llama, a fly that's known to be particularly successful for catching large West Coast fish. And this particular variation is one of my friend's favorites to use for bull trout. I'd give it away, however this one is going in my personal fly box for an upcoming trip. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.